today. So let's hear Nigerians out why they think the protest is necessary. Are they supporting it or not?
And at this point, let's just hear what, like you said, let's hear what Nigerians have to. I'm sure they have a lot to say concerning this product. It's long awaited. Everyone has been waiting 27, 28.
We're not sure if it was going to hold or not because of the back and forth.
Yes, exactly. And of course, the 63 members who actually backed out. So with that alone, that gave some setback a bit. But it's still ongoing. And let's hear what individuals in the FCT have to say concerning the protests. Let's listen.
Hello, it's a beautiful day and we are out here on the street of Abuja to ask Nigerians on their opinion if they are in support of the NLC planned protest concerning the high cost of living in Nigeria and the spat of insecurities in Nigeria. Come along with me as we get to hear from Nigerians.
My name is Honorable Mustafa Umar. I'm not support of this protest because this protest is bring a lot of disasters. That is actually what happened when the NSAS has started their protest. You understand? And this hardship and these economic situations is not only in these nations, it's everywhere, it's globally. You understand? You know, Nigerians are thinking that it's only this country. It's not only this country. You understand? It's just that some people that they just want to spoil these Tinubu administrations.
My name is Onu Godwin. Yeah, I'm in support of the protest, and I really want them to go on with the protest, but it should be a peaceful protest. And then it's just a way of citizens trying to air out their mind concerning what they feel is bad, because the government is for the people and for the people.
My name is Emmanuel, yes, and I must say that I am a Democrat. Yes, I'm a lover of democracy, but unfortunately, what is happening in our country today is beyond measures. So I am strongly in support of the planned protest of the Nigerian Labour Congress because they serve as an intermediary between the citizens and the government. So I don't see any reason why the government should try to stop them from protesting. There is rising high cost of living in this country beyond reasonable. We have not seen this kind of challenges in this country before. Rising from insecurity, if you look at our key performance indices, everything has risen. We are beyond measures. We have not seen this before. So I think if a true representative government always ensures that its actions and policies get approval from the majority of the public. So if you are taking actions and you are not trying to align with your citizens, it means you are doing nothing. So for you to even try to stop them from protesting, it means that you have failed. They should allow for freedom of speech. You understand? Yes, they should allow the people to express themselves freely.
My name is Onyamale Chijoketoni. The NLC, at the time of, or during the time of Adams Oshiomhole, is not what it is today. You understand? So there's need for us to embark on this nationwide protest. And I want to say that I want to take the lead, you know, to join the millions of Nigerians out there, because, you know, what we are going through right now is more than suicidal. We are like, you know, a suicide mission, you know. And so there's only one voice, and who is to help the masses, if not NLC? So we are begging the NLC to embark on this nationwide strike, because that's the only solution. That is the voice of the people, and when you speak, everything listens.
So my name is Barrister Thaddeus Mbalian. The government has a duty to provide for the welfare of the people. So it is under the law, under the Constitution, that the government's primary duty will be for the purpose of welfare and the security of the people. And considering the current economic situation in Nigeria, the welfare is not there. The first subsidy was removed since the beginning of this administration, and they promised to do a lot of things to cushion the effect of the subsidy, of the removal of the subsidy on the people, but they have not done it. Look at transportation in Abuja. The prices of fuel, they keep on increasing day by day, and there are no alternatives for other people who will park their vehicles and maybe join the other alternatives to go to offices or do their businesses. And the prices of things are soaring up day by day, and the naira is falling day by day. So it is the right of Nigerians to tell the government through peaceful protest that no, you are going the wrong way. You have to come to the right way.
My name is Suleiman Ahmed Wan. Opinion about the plan protest by NLC, I support it 100%. Because what is happening today, if you look at the current situation of this country called Nigeria today, the inflation is high. People are crying. People are hungry. Insecurity everywhere. Look at the price of goods. It's increasing everywhere. Even the locally produced goods and services in Nigeria is increasing every day.
My name is Baba Ale Kayode. I support the protest, to be sincere, because the protest will solve, at least it will make government ginger. So it will wake government from their slumber.
My name is Umar Musa Kuta. So about this situation we are facing in this Nigeria now, wallahi, the situation is critical. Every day things are getting more worse. This protest is good because, if not because Nigerians are a peaceful country, in other countries like Sudan, because of common bread now they're going on strike. But see Nigeria now, things are getting worse. Every day, all the masses are getting tired. So I'm trying to advise the president, if the thing gets worse and worse, don't provoke the masses. If the masses provoke, things are not going to be good.
My name is Benjamin Andrew, and honestly, since I was born, I've never seen hardship like this. I've never seen situation like this, situation that turns champions to beggars, married men to another things. I mean, underage young women to a prostitute because of hardship, because of their parents could not afford even a single square meal right now in the country. I think protest will be one of the ways whereby they can make known our pain, what we are going through in Nigeria. We keep talking about dollar. What's our problem with dollar? Yes, I know we, the masses, we have our own problem too. Because dollar doesn't have anything to do with Gary. Dollar doesn't have anything to do with Akpu. Of course, but the government should know that in fact, you will vote them there, you suffer to get a voter's card, you suffer to vote them, when they get there, they begin to suffer you. So why don't we protest? Let them know our pain, we are suffering, we are dying. Nigerians, in my own country, I'm dying. I cannot afford to eat. As I'm talking to you, I told my brother Gary is in my bag right now because I could not afford 700 naira food. If I could eat 700 naira food times 3 in a day, how much are we talking about? How much is my salary? I have children, I have wife, I have bills to pay.
We have heard the opinions of Nigerians concerning the protest. Some are against it, while others are fully in support of the protest. I am Namsifon Etem, reporting for Global TV.
All right, that was Julia Roberts. Okay, I beg your pardon. Nimsi there. Yeah, she reminds me of Julia Roberts. That's Nimsi there doing a great job there, going out to talk to Nigerians as regards what their take was as regards the protest.
Different opinions concerning the protest. Some are really for the protest due to the hardship that so many individuals
are going through
hard times. It's a really sad.
And one man gave very strict warning to Mr. President. If the people you could see the passion he uses saying it, but it just tells you what Nigerians are going through, and I hope the presidency is watching keenly and they would make the move to make our life better for Nigerians. Okay, it's that time where we look at all the big stories making a round in Nigeria's national dailies. We will be joined via Zoom by two analysts. We've got Isalu Ishata, who is a current affair analyst and also a mobile money expert, who will be joining us via Zoom. And we also have Victor Oshomo, who is an activist also, will join us via Zoom. So we've got two people via Zoom to join us, look at all the big stories making the rounds in the papers. Let's quickly see who's joining us first. Isalu, good morning. Nice to have you join us this morning. And also, I want to say, Victor Oshomo, are you there? Victor Oshomo, are you there? Okay, Isa Ali Shata, thank you for joining us. Let's look at the big stories making the rounds in the papers. This morning we've got The Punch, the Daily Trust, and other papers for review this morning as we look at the big stories. First of all, Isa, I want to know, are you out on the streets doing the protests? Are you part of those protesting?
Not at all.
Okay, so you're not in support of Labour's protest?
All right, let's begin with
the Punch newspaper. The headline there says, 12 years after Tinubu adopted Orasonya's report, merges agencies. Then we've got a police deploy anti-riot squad as NLC holds a protest today. We've got Ogun, Kogi, Taraba governors felicitate with Punch at 50. All right, Sans list expectations as Supreme Court justices rise to 21. We've got customs suspend rice sale after 7 die in stampede. Then CBN sells over $300 million to banks as Naira gains. Let's begin from the 12 years after Tinubu adopts Orasonya's report, merges agencies. How would you describe this move by the federal government?
Very timely indeed. And we need to really commend the current government, because if you look at all of the policies that they've been reading out, they have been bold policies. You know, they are making bold statements. And the truth is, it doesn't really matter who came up with the report. The report, don't forget, you know, came up during the PDP administration, I think during the wake of the last moment of the PDP administration. So they're really not bothered about who developed the report, as long as the report, you know, is to serve the purpose of the nation. And I want to really commend the president for taking this initiative. I'm really, really excited that, you know, they eventually did it. The last administration wanted to implement it, but I think nobody knew what happened at that time. But thank God it's better late than never. And of course, it's long overdue. We need to cost of governance. If you look at it, it's too much. You have a lot of agencies, NDAs, parastatals that you don't even know their name. You don't even know they exist. You don't even know their functions. And you can't even point out to say exactly these are the achievements that they have done, even after they have been, you know, formulated or inaugurated or, you know, brought into the governance. So for us, I think it's a welcome development.
All right. Lots of people are expressing concern as regards if mergers do occur. With about 541 parastatals, agencies, and commissions, at about 200 plus was said to be reduced to 161, while some were said to be scrapped completely, while others, about 14, should be returned to departments. Are you not worried that people might lose their jobs? And in terms of those who are directors in certain agencies, what happens to them when they are merged? Wouldn't there be conflict in terms of positioning? Who leads who and who calls the shots?
Sorry, I really don't think there will be conflict of interest if you ask me. And I also do not think that is going to have problem. In fact, they've said that nobody is going to lose their job. and we have to take their word for it. So at this point, they've said it categorically. What they are just doing.
All right, I think we have some hitch there. Issa Ali Shatta, I hope you rejoin us. And we've got Victor Oshoma. I don't know if Victor Oshoma has joined us via Zoom so that we can get his take on some of these big stories we're looking at from the Punch newspaper. All right, let's go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, looking at the paper reviews would continue after this quick break. All right, welcome back from the break. We're still on the newspaper review segment. We're looking at the big stories making the rounds. And Issa Ali Shatta, thank you for rejoining us back via Zoom.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Okay, we're still looking at the move by the federal government to implement that report. Okay, let's look at the fact that some critics have said the federal government has not shown any willingness to reduce the expenditure of the government by appointing 50 ministers, and now the presidency is going on to, merge agencies and parastatal. Does this tally in terms of, in one hand, you're trying to reduce cost of governance, on the other hand, you're also expanding it with the appointments? Do we need 50 ministers to run the government, especially now that the agencies, parastatals, and commissions are going to be, reduced and merged? Shouldn't there also be reduction of personnel?
Yeah, realistically, I think a lot of people.
Can you hear me?
I said realistically,
okay.
a lot of people will say that the numbers are over bloated, but the truth is, if you want to look at it critically, maybe most of those ministers who are going to end up being state ministers will be overseeing some of the parastatals that are being merged, right? Because if you look at it, majority of those state ministers do not really have a lot to do. But with the merger now, I think they are going to have a lot of portfolio under their belt, right? So maybe it's a strategic move to, give more responsibility to, the assistant ministers, so they call them.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Issa, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning. Now,
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine. All right. Still on the Punch, it says Tinubu orders SGF panel to implement mergers in 12 weeks. Ministers rule out job losses. Now, looking at that critically, 12 weeks, the time frame, is it visible?
Yeah, of course it's visible because these agencies exist. What they just need to tweak, and if you look at the composition of the committee that it was set up to implement it, they have people from different arms of government, so that they are able to look at it from the executive eye, from the legislative point of view and from the judiciary point of view as well. So if you bring the combination of these experiences together, it should be enough time for them to be able to implement it. Because don't forget that there were recommendations. Beyond the recommendations, how to implement it again was also recommended. So it was an holistic document. All they need to be doing now is to put action to those recommendations, which means start implementing, start holding meetings, and start also orientating those agencies that are going to be merged. Then even the directors or the heads of those parastatals that will be merging and be moving into a separate entity, they need that reorientation. And majority of them are aware. I know people who knew the outcome of the Orange report, and it was just something they were waiting for. So it was long overdue. So it won't take much time. They know that, yes, there are overlaps, here and there, and duplication of activities. So why continue to have all of those? And that's the reason why you see that today we are having those problems in governance, because you see some activities of these agencies that overlap into the other, and they create confusion. This particular agency is just protecting his own territory. The other one is protecting his own territory, forgetting the fact that they are all there to serve the same purpose. And at the end of the day, we lose the focus on the achievement or the target or the objective. But right now, they are going to be streamlining all of these into one, and they can now work with common purpose, common idea, common front, and more hands, right, and experiences to deliver on their set objectives.
All right. Thank you.
All right, the last question will be 38 agencies are being recommended to be abolished. What's going to happen to the civil servants who work in these 38 agencies that are supposed to be abolished?
They will be reabsorbed into other agencies. Don't forget that we need to, at this point in time, it will be unwise for any government to want to create, to increase the unemployment bucket, right? And they have said categorically that that is not the idea. So I feel that based on the experiences that those civil servants have, we can reabsorb them into other agencies or other ministries that actually have shortages. Because don't forget that there are retirements. A lot of people have retired. Some unfortunately have lost their lives, and some have actually resigned voluntarily, right? So we have all of these buckets of offices that needs to be filled, so they can move in and fill those offices and add more, to all of those ministries, NDAs, or agencies that need to be absorbed rather.
All right, let's still looking at the Punch newspaper and the big stories making the rounds. Let's look at other stories from the Punch. You've got another story from the Punch.
Yes, I do. And it says, police deploy anti-riot squad as NLC holds protest today. Basically, the protest is still ongoing today. And it says Ogun, Kogi, Taraba, government facilitate. And those are some of the top stories there. And it says customs suspend rice sale after 7 die in stampede. The stampede that happened in Lagos, of course.
Yeah, and shouldn't the customs be held liable for this? Because we remember the last time they organized an examination, lots of people lost their lives at the National Stadium. Same thing. Why are they not being organized when they hold, conduct such things that they know would, bring lots of crowd? Issa, should we be holding the customs liable for those that have died? Probably make them pay compensation as a way of them learning their lessons.
Yeah, that can happen, but unfortunately, it can't bring back the dead. Unfortunately, I think it's just a general lesson to not just the custom, but any other government agency who want to conduct such activities. I have been privileged to be an operation staff on the field and dealing with crowd, most especially when we are paying the conditional cash transfer. We have more crowd than what you even have at customs. There are simple logic that you deploy in actually attending to crowds like this. You have crowd control mechanisms that you need to put into. So if you don't have the experience, you cannot address them. Crowds are difficult to manage, but if you set up parameters that can help you guide against this kind of stampede, it will. So what you would have done is there would have been a number count, head count. Then everybody is batched into different groups. So you pick one group at a time. So if it's not your turn, you don't come forward because you'll not be attended to.
Sure.
So if everybody understands this principle, this simple logic principle, it's easier for you to manage crowd. Then you can even batch them and segment them into these. So those that you already know the capacity of the men you have on ground to support and go and render support to this crowd. So you know the amount of crowd you want to pick, how many per head, per person. You already have all of these, streamlined. So once you have all of this strategy aligned for crowd control, you can avoid, this stampede in the future. But we don't learn from our mistakes, unfortunately. This is not the first time it's been reoccurring. So, but we need to, and because of the anger and the hunger that is in town, everybody is desperate, everybody is frustrated. So everybody really want to get there. But my own concern really is, how do you really control the resale of this bag? Because a lot of people will buy this cheaper, rebag it, and go and cash in. And Nigeria, we are just the problem of ourselves. Trust me, and I am certain that is even happening. People will go and sell those rice at a higher amount in the market, and it will go back again to the same amount that is being sold in the market. So there has to be a little sort of control mechanism, put in place to ensure that the right people get these affordable items and they don't actually cash in on the availability of it to resell it and also manipulate the market.
All right, Issa, let's hold on. Let's also get a view of another analyst just around the corner. We've got Victor Oshoma also joining us via Zoom. Victor Oshoma, nice to have you join us this morning on Global Morning.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is actually Victor Isede. Oshoma Isede. Oshoma is my middle name.
So we got thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let's look at some of the big stories making the rounds on the Daily Trust. We've got a protest in Lagos, Osun, Edo over hardship. And we've got EFCC, ICPC, CCB to merge. YPTAD, PTDF, NIWA to be scrapped. We also got other big stories. Water scarcity in the FCT, reps to conclude constitution amendment in 24 months. Bandits displace 10 communities in Kaduna. And on the foreign scene, we've got Gaza war, US a man sets ablaze outside Israeli embassy. Let's begin with the protests in Lagos, Osun, Edo over hardship. What's your take as the fact that we've been seeing this protest now go through different states of the federation, and also the fact that the NLC is embarking on its strike today already?
Well, the protest is something we have been envisaging for a long time. Nigeria, we've had so many cleavages. One of our problems has been that our leaders, they have been using so many cleavages to fight the Nigerian people, to divide the Nigerian people. You have cleavages like religion, ethnicity. They've used those instruments to pauperize the poor, to make the poor to remain poor, to disunite Nigerians, to divide us under primordial sentiment, things that naturally wouldn't have been issues to us. You see, hunger remains the most potent weapon that can instigate national outcry and also revolution. If I take you back to the French Revolution, you discover that it was the scarcity of bread. Everybody at that time had only one goal, which was to feed the stomach. But today, you see the same thing reoccurring in Nigeria. We had an election that was polarized, divided, highly divided. This is the most divisive election we have ever had in the history of this country, where issue of ethnicity, issue of religion, issue of, in fact, the elite, they gang up against the Nigerian people. But however, if they were able to put their house together, they would have understood that what would have made the people to be under their control would have been if they have put effort in ensuring that food sufficiency is enough. But look at what they are doing. I don't think it is right for any governor, the president to be thinking of building road, building bridge at this point in time. For the first 6 months, if they want us to have peace in this country, they should do all they have to do to ensure that the prices of food go down. In fact, that should be the major national emergency for now. Because if they don't do it, it means that what you are seeing now is protest. But what you will see again is when the poor will start feeding on the rich. We've seen cases where a truck loaded with foodstuff were hijacked.
Yeah.
We'll see, if you look at the NSAS, you will see that it started down, it developed into the houses of the elite. They know those who got their money through this government means. So when this crisis come, they will be the first to go. These are the first people they will visit. I remember what the then chief judges of Sierra Leone, when Nigeria came into this Fourth Republic, what he was telling them, he told them, he said, you might think you are safe, but when place these people will go to is the airport. By the time everybody will be here. So I want to use this medium, this alone at this point in time. This is the work of even the local government. Last year they just shared the trillions of naira again. Fake. We are hearing it on TV, seeing it how much they are sharing. This money is going down to the local government. So what the president would have done, or the governors to do, is tell the local government, look, your allocation, devote it in ensuring that there is food security in your locality. There are areas, okay, now there's even an issue again. They are telling us that they are bagging rice, they are bagging maize, they are using them not for sale. Just watch where those bags will go to later. You will later hear that a second will be telling you, give me 5 tons will be going to my village. The place. This one, let me. Biggest problem as a civil society practitioner is what we know and what we have been seeing on the street. If you look at our budget, more than 20% of that budget is zonal intervention project, ZIP. And zonal intervention project, these are supposed to be projects, this money is supposed to go to those senatorial districts, those House of Rep constituency. And you find out that most of these projects are supposed to be more of empowerment. But we hear trillions of naira being voted for those zonal intervention projects, year in, year out. And you will see that majority of them are training empowerment. So if we still have 4 trillion naira so far, if project and Nigeria are still poor in this state, it means that something is wrong with that ZIP. So what I would have been saying that the government should cancel that ZIP, see how we can restructure this country to a level where if we are going back to parliamentary system, I support it wholeheartedly.
All right.
Or we should do away with this system that allow one man to sit in Aso Rock and dictate what happened in my village. Thank you very much.
Victor, before we go talk to the other analysts, let's take your. What's your take as regards the federal government's plan to merge the EFCC, ICPC, CCB, to merge then the PTDF NIWA to be scrapped. Because the federal government says they want to implement the Orosonya's report. What's your take on that?
Well, first of all, the reduction in government is one of our advocacy. But there are areas they like to go to which are not sincere. Why nomenclature of both organizations, they both, in ICPC you have a jurist or somebody who is from the independent angle. EFCC, you should have an experienced person who, like a police officer or somebody in that. So, and if you look at the nature of both of them, EFCC is economic crime. ICPC, you see, I personally feel the ICPC should have been more of orientation, more of going to the grassroots, more of civil society, and so I don't feel ICPC EFCC merger is right, but I can tell you that code of conduct EFCC can merge. Then PTAD, NIWA, all those ones you mentioned, they can merge because we have so many organizations. Let me give you where the mergers can even be more effective. You see that you have if you go to the Ministry of Agric, you see a Federal Ministry of Forestry Research. You see Federal Ministry of Forestry, something like that. You just see them name, the same. They are all set up by people's interest.
Or
efficiency of merging EFCC and ICPC, but I support wholeheartedly the Orosanye report. That is my own position.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get the view of our other analyst in Aliyu Shatta. Aliyu Shatta, let's look at what the Vanguard newspaper is saying this morning. Hardship is the kicker. Ahead of NLC rally, protests rock Edo, Lagos, and Osun. Nigeria will work if Southeast works optimally, says Kashim Shettima. That's the big one there. Then Tinubu reduces 263 MDAs to 161 as FEC adopts Orange's report. And we've got other stories. Edo Guba, Idahosa's men petition Ganduje wants Uzodima's report upheld. That's the headline story there.
And we also have TUC advises federal government to allow importation of food items.
All right, so Aliyu Shatta, let's begin from the TUC saying the federal government should import food. Is that the right advice? And should the TUC be the one giving the federal government that kind of advice to import food? Is the TUC playing to the gallery? Aliyu Shatta, are you there?
I don't necessarily think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I said not necessarily, but the truth is the government has emphatically made it clear that they are not going to import food items into the country. There are a lot of things you can connect to that. First, Nigeria is seen as a giant of of Africa. So the government want to maintain that stand as being the giant of Africa. And that's the reason why you are seeing food items being rolled out, from our food bank, and customs also releasing food items and selling it at a cheaper price, right? So these are all of the things that I feel the government is doing just to prevent that. Don't forget that when they had the economic meeting with the governors, right, the emergency meeting, it was opined that they should import food items, but the president rejected that suggestion, and I don't see government really importing food items. The truth is, what we have in the country is self-inflicted, and at the same time, we also have this coming during the wake of COVID-19. Don't forget that it was predicted that Nigeria might run into food crisis by 2024, and we are in 2024 today. It was predicted at that time. So it will be saddening that during COVID, when everybody was at home, we didn't have food crisis. Why? Because the previous administration invested, not this current, not the previous one that just left. I'm talking about the Jonathan administration. They did a lot in the agricultural sector, where you had Akinwumi, right, who did a lot in that sector, and we are able to have the gains of those activities. Now, the window dressing approach we had in the previous administration, has actually shown you today that what we saw in the previous administration was the more you see, the less you understand. Because if not, the kind of money that was invested in agriculture, we should be feeling the impact more, right? And when I also say self-inflicted, you have a lot of, if you look at the currency crisis, is actually more beneficial, right, for these retail or wholesale of farmers to really take these items out of the country to earn more than for them to sell in Nigeria. And you can see in the previous week that a lot of trucks were, hijacked, from all of these economic saboteurs, right? So there's a peripheral of activities that is happening that is causing, this scarcity. But one of the primary acts is insecurity. As long as your farmers are unable to access their farm, as long as your farmers are scared, they can't even stay in their own community to farm. Trust me, we are going to have even far more crises than we have today. So
the Nigerian Army is saying that they deployed troops across the country to protect farmers so that farmers can go to their farms. That's what Edward Buba told Nigerians.
How many of those farms, how many men do you have in the military? And do you know the hectares of land that we have in Nigeria? How many would they? So let's stop this traditional approach of, approaching security. We need to really be very, very constructive. We need to be proactive, right? We need to deploy we've been shouting about technology, and I've been saying it here that we have those technology, right? We need to deploy these items to ensure that the last time I heard the Minister of Interior talking about, the situation room setting up for the border controls and all of that. We need to really start activating, apart from talking, we need to start executing all of these policies so that they can translate into economic benefit. But as long as we don't address the issue of insecurity, as long as we are playing lip services to the issue of security, we are going to continue to have all of this problem. And trust me, no country, not even Nigeria at this point in time, want to face food crisis, because even our neighboring countries will not be able to cushion and support us. Trust me.
All right, Kashim Shettima says Nigeria will only work if the Southeast works. How true is this comment as regards looking at the industrialization of the country, how key it is, and also the insecurity in the Southeast region, and also the Southeast also saying they are the only region with 5 states and they need more states?
Yeah, that statement is spot on, because if you look at the other regions in Nigeria, look at those that are benefiting to the economy or the commercial hub of any state today. You can see that they are Southeasterners. If you look at also the DNA of the Southeasterners, these people are resourceful people. These people are hardworking people. These people are smart and intelligent people. Forget about the negative connotation you want to give them to say, oh, they are dubious. But the truth is they contribute immensely to the economy of Nigeria. So if, of course, the Southeast works, then I believe in that statement that Nigeria will work, because it will serve as a template, for other regions. And it can create a comparative advantage and a competitive edge for all of those regions, other regions, to key into. So every region can draw from their strength. Every region is uniquely blessed with their strength. Southeast is uniquely blessed with what they have. So if we can see what happened in China, if you replicate that investment in the Southeast, most of the things that we import into this country today will be consumed locally. I mean, you have seen the items already that they produce in the Southeast. Let's encourage them. Let's develop the Southeast to become an industrial hub, right? That is going to feed into the other region in Nigeria, and we can tap from it. Just the way the Southeast depends on other regions for livestock and for agricultural products, we can also depend on the Southeast for some of the items that we import into the country. And that also reduces the pressure on your currency. But the truth is, in as much as we continue to consume what other people are producing, we should not expect any miracle to happen, or CBN, the fiscal policy or the monetary policy to change. All of those will just be rhetoric. But in real economic terms, you need to be able to consume what you produce, as opposed to you consuming others' items coming into the country, encouraging employment generation for other countries, and encouraging the GDP and the revenue base of those countries, as opposed to us concentrating in looking inwards and promoting industrial hub. As long as we don't do that, we'll continue to speak English.
All right, Mr. Issa, let's move over now to Business Day. And some of the big stories on Business Day says foreign investors hit brakes on Nigeria over volatile naira. And then one of the big stories there says drug makers see decline in fortune despite soaring prices. And those are the big stories. There says finally federal government begins implementation of Oronsoya. Now, looking at this story, foreign investors hit brakes on naira over volatile naira. What's your take on this particular caption when we're talking about foreign investors? Do you think we will not get as much foreign investors that we ought to have in Nigeria due to the fall in naira at this point?
I mean, it's obvious. If you do the maths, arithmetic, if you come into Nigeria today and you invest, say you put in $1 million, right? And you are expected to have return on investment. If your investment or if your company or what you're investing in is yielding positive outcome and your revenue growth increases by, say, 40 to 50%, right? You are supposed to ordinarily be going back with maybe $1.5 million or $1.8 million, $1.7 million. But as at the time you are, even if you make 100% of your profit back, say you are doing $2 million, and as at the time that you invested, Naira was pegged at, say, 1,000. And by the time you are taking back your return on investment, the Naira is pegged at 2,000 Naira. You have not done anything significant, right? So as an investor, you will definitely would not want to venture into such a quagmire. And the truth is, we need to encourage that direct foreign investment. Foreign direct investment is what cushions the effect, is what oscillates the economy to grow, because it has a multiplier effect across board. But in as much as we don't have all of those, right, no investor will be confident enough to want to invest in the country. That's why you see that those in charge of the policies, monetary and fiscal policies, are running from pillar to post to ensure that they can encourage foreign direct investment and they can bring back that confidence to boost the economy activities, right? So that market forces can determine, the rate of your currency, and all of those demands and supply can maybe meet at a point, and let's say that supply can somehow outweigh demand. But as much as you have scarcity in the system, you will not ordinarily expect any investor to come in and invest. And that is the reason why you see that a lot of investments are divesting and they are leaving the country tactically, not wholly. So, but we need to do something very
fast. All right, Mr. Issa, are you there? Mr. Issa, are you there? We're experiencing a little bit of...
All right, let's see if we've still got a Victor. Victor, are you still with us?
All right, let's quickly go on a quick break.
Okay, Victor, not with us, okay.
Let's quickly go on a quick break. Global Morning continues shortly.
right, welcome back from the break. You're still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, Global Morning, and I still have Victor joining us via Zoom, and also Issa Ali Shatta also via Zoom. Gentlemen, the two last questions I would like you to take in 2 minutes. One of them says that the Constitution to be ready by 2025, and the Constitution Amendment reps prioritize state police, then also women in governance and others. Then also federal government and ASU in endless tango over unfulfilled promises. Victor, let's start with you. What's your take on that? Those two questions, the Constitution being ready in the next 2 years, and ASU and federal government again.
When the Constitution being ready in the next 2 years, I don't think it's what Nigerians are, at the moment, what Nigerians are waiting to hear, because over the years, we'll be hearing about amendment of Constitution. What we need in Nigeria is a referendum for us to actually know if this Constitution is working or not. You see that recently some House of Rep members, a quantum number of them have come together to say we have to go back to the parliamentary system. 60 plus, that we have to go back to the parliamentary system. You also had Ango Abdullahi, the Northern Elders Forum leader, also saying we have to go back to parliamentary system. You also remember Olisa Abakuba was saying, yes, Wambueze made a proposition that we should just replace the Constitution. So I don't know those dramatic things about constitutional amendment. First of all, the intention of this National Assembly, what are the intentions? Do they have nationalistic view or they have personal view? Look at the electoral act that was done during that time. You find out that when you make a law in Nigeria, implementation is another phase entirely. So we, as ordinary citizens, we don't, all the jargons of constitutional amendment does not take anything from us. Is the federation working? Is the system actually working? Do we have local government system? Do you have a system where the state as it is composed today, the Nigerian state, is it actually fair? You know, there are a lot of issues around this our setup. So we have to go back to the basis. There should be a referendum. Now we have digital systems, so we can even have this referendum. They can bring some of these clauses to us. We'll vote on it. In fact, all this agitation of separation and all that can just be settled by that. But I don't see this present National Assembly having that ideological stance to be able to take on an holistic amendment of the Constitution. You can see they are right now. I think they are even confused because you are boggling up so many things. You want to implement Orosanye report. You want to bring back. So if you want to dust any report, go back to the confab. The confab report is holistic enough. We're talking about regions. Let's see if we can go back to that arrangement again. Nigerians have had so many panels, so many committees, so many in the past. They all came, they were paid fat salaries and allowances, and at the end of the day, they take the report and they put it in the archive. So these ones we are saying now, they're just trying to pacify us.
All right, thank you, Victor. We want to say enjoy the rest of your day. We thank you for making your debut on Global Morning, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of you in the coming days and weeks. Thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, Issa Ali Shatta, let's end up the discussion and get your views as regards the Constitution, how quick the Constitution should be ready, and also the issue of a federal government and ASU still having issues.
Well, for the Constitution, I think I won't want to say much. The other guests have said a lot about the Constitution. It's very logical. All you need to go back to is the Constitutional Conference that we had during the end of Jonathan's administration. A lot of recommendations were made in that conference. And I think just the way this government have dusted the archives to bring back the Oronsoya's report, they can go back to that same report and implement most of those recommendations there. The truth is, it doesn't really make difference to the ordinary man on the street. Everything we are saying here are just pure English. What the ordinary man on the street wants to see is that he's safe, first. Secondly, his kids or him himself or his family members, his household, have access to good healthcare delivery system. They have access to good education. They have access, equal opportunity for them to be able to do what? To go after the same job that the so-called elite kids are going after. Federal character. They want to see a true reflection of federal character. But in the current arrangement that we have, I don't see that happening. Because what we have seen is disequilibrium or inequality across the societal strata. So what do we need to do is to unbundle this constitution. I mean, we've had several voices come out to condemn, or rather, to oppose the current arrangement that we have in the constitution, that it was an emergency constitution that was given to us before 1999 election, right? So for me, it's more or less like a cosmetic surgery that was done and handed over to Nigeria to say, go and exist, continue to exist, right? But now that everybody is now interested, at that time, we have passive participation. Now we have active participation. We have different stakeholders coming. Everybody is now interested in the project called Nigeria. Now, if we have people interested in the project called Nigeria, bring everybody, a representative of those people, to go and churn out that the constitutional conference that we have, or we've had. We have several of them, and identify clearly how we, Nigeria, want to go, right? And like he rightly said, let us have that referendum for people to even vote to say, we want this constitution, and this is how we want to be governed going forward. These are all of the things I feel we can do, to change the narrative. But as long as we continue to have all of these, window dressing approach to say we are reforming the constitution, we are reviewing the constitution, these guys are just, it's just like you performing surgery to an elephant, and you keep, performing surgery on that lion. One day the lion is going to die anyways, because all of the organs will be affected. So it's the same thing, right? The same thing that we need today. Nigeria is not, the way we have evolved with the incoming of technology, Nigeria had evolved from what we used to have in 1999. So it is time for us to unbundle this constitution and have a clean one. On the case of ASU, right? If ASU was a gateway, if ASU as an institution was a gateway for politicians to get to office, trust me, would have ended this ASU government rift. Because they know that ASU is going to wait for them at the point they need them the most, and they will also come back at them. But if you look at it, most of their kids are not in Nigeria. They don't care. They don't care. They simply don't care. Most of their kids are outside Nigeria schooling. Their family members, majority of their family members are on their scholarships, right? Either state scholarship or constituency scholarship or whatsoever. So they are not feeling the pain. It is when it is mandated. So part of the constitutional reform, if they have that guts, they should put it now in the constitutional reform, that on no condition will anybody in government send their children to abroad for education. If it's a private university, you can do that in Nigeria. If it's a federal university, stay in Nigeria, let your kids. If their kids are in those schools, trust me, they will change all of those things. They will ensure that strike ends. They will ensure that ASU gets what they are asking for. They will reform ASU, right? But what we keep seeing over time is promises upon promises upon promises. Then what happens at the end of the day? Strike. Now it's now becoming like a paddy approach. So look at the graduate we churn out. So pause for a minute. Is it a strategy to delay those that we churn out as unemployed graduates because we don't have enough institution to absorb them, right? So there are a lot of underlining factors that we need to look at beyond the face value to ensure that these guys are really not deliberately also doing this, to slow down those we churn out. But the truth is, you can slow them down. At the end of the day, we still churn out these graduates. So what they need to do is to ensure that the economy is set right, is to ensure that, like I said earlier, industrialization is back, is to ensure that we don't overgive, a lot of attention to certificate education. Rather, technical education and skill education is what we should pursue. As long as we don't do all of these things, we'll continue to have all these rhetoric approach to ASU federal government rift. But for me, I am very optimistic that we will still have a visionary leader that can change all of this narrative. It's not rocket science. That day will come. I still believe in Nigeria, and I believe that we will have the leaders, the right leaders to really rule us, as opposed to this, makeshift approach we have in leadership. It's sad, it's unfortunate, because we've gotten the brains, we've gotten the resources, but we are not applying them to where it really fits.
All right, just as a way of wrapping up our conversation, yes, the sanctions have been lifted by ECOWAS, but reports reaching us tells us that the Niger border is still closed. Do you think there's a reason for this closure yet, even after the suspension of the sanctions? Is that an inkling to say the juntas might not necessarily want to return back to the ECOWAS fold?
No, in the diplomatic platform, you have the front end and the back end dialogue. And what I feel that is going on right now is the back. In fact, before this announcement, there were a series of back end dialogue that had taken place, which has snowballed into this decision of ECOWAS, to leave the ban. Now, those back end dialogue are still ongoing to reach a concrete agreement, right? Because there are certain things I feel that ECOWAS too would have demanded from the juntas to ensure that at least they conform, to the principle of what ECOWAS is, and they really want to go back and reabsorb them into ECOWAS. Remember that they said that they were going to, go out of ECOWAS, or they are actually, delisting their membership, rather. So, but with a lot of diplomacy, with a lot of diplomatic conversation and approach, I believe that the border will be reopened. But those back-end conversation has to happen so that certain guidelines, certain rules of engagement will also be adhered to. Because don't forget that beyond the economic factor that is here, we also have the security factor as well. So they need to be able to have that synergy back and reintegrate that, multinational task force that we have, for all of those border lines. So all of these activities are currently ongoing. I want to be 100% sure about that. And by the time they come up and agree to a certain way or a certain compass of, moving forward, those border will be reopened momentarily. All
right, thank you. Issa Shatta, always a pleasure having you on the program for your very deep and expert advice on very critical issues. And Jumai, you have last words for Issa?
Not really, but thank you so much for being a part of the program. Thank you for being a part of Global Morning and sharing your opinions. Thank you. You are appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that's how we're going to call it a wrap on the newspaper review segment. I will go for another quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be talking to the Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, and the person of Abdulaziz Suleiman, who will be joining us in the conversation as we look at the government decision to implement the Orasanyon's reports finally. So I will be having Abdulaziz Suleiman, the Director of Publicity and Advocacy for the Northern Elders Forum, join us on the top of the hour to look at that very salient issue. Stay with us.
Hello, it's a beautiful day and we are out here on the street of Abuja to ask Nigerians on their opinion if they are in support of the NLC planned protest concerning the high cost of living in Nigeria and the spat of insecurities in Nigeria. Come along with me as we get to hear from Nigerians.
My name is Honorable Mustafa Omar. I'm not support of this protest because this protest is bring a lot of disasters. That is actually what happened when the NSAS has started their protest. You understand? And this hardship and these economic situations is not only in these nations, it's everywhere, it's globally. You understand? You know, Nigerians are thinking that it's only this country. It's not only this country. You understand? It's just that some people that they just want to spoil these Tinubu administrations.
My name is Onu Godwin. Yeah, I'm in support of the protest, and I really want them to go on with the protest, but it should be a peaceful protest. And then it's just a way of citizens trying to air out their mind concerning what they feel is bad, because the government is for the people and for the people.
My name is Emmanuel, yes, and I must say that I am a Democrat. Yes, I'm a lover of democracy, but unfortunately, what is happening in our country today is beyond measures. So I am strongly in support of the planned protest of the Nigerian Labour Congress because they serve as an intermediary between the citizens and the government. So I don't see any reason why the government should try to stop them from protesting. There is rising high cost of living in this country beyond reasonable. We have not seen this kind of challenges in this country before. Rising from insecurity, if you look at our key performance indices, everything has risen. We are beyond measures. We have not seen this before. So I think if a true representative government always ensures that its actions and policies get approval from the majority of the public. So if you are taking actions and you are not trying to align with your citizens, it means you are doing nothing. So for you to even try to stop them from protesting, it means that you have failed. They should allow for freedom of speech. You understand? Yes, they should allow the people to express themselves freely.
My name is Onyamale Chijoketoni. The NLC, at the time of, or during the time of Adams Oshiomhole, is not what it is today. You understand? So there's need for us to embark on this nationwide protest. And I want to say that I want to take the lead, you know, to join the millions of Nigerians out there, because, you know, what we are going through right now is more than suicidal. We are like, you know, a suicide mission, you know. And so there's only one voice, and who is to help the masses, if not NLC? So we are begging the NLC to embark on this nationwide strike, because that's the only solution. That is the voice of the people, and when you speak, everything listens.
So my name is Barrister Thaddeus Mbalian. The government has a duty to provide for the welfare of the people. So it is under the law, under the Constitution, that the government's primary duty will be for the purpose of welfare and the security of the people. And considering the current economic situation in Nigeria, the welfare is not there. The first subsidy was removed since the beginning of this administration, and they promised to do a lot of things to cushion the effect of the subsidy, of the removal of the subsidy on the people, but they have not done it. Look at transportation in Abuja. The prices of fuel, they keep on increasing day by day, and there are no alternatives for other people who will park their vehicles and maybe join the other alternatives to go to offices or do their businesses. And the prices of things are soaring up day by day, and the Naira is falling day by day. So it is the right of Nigerians to tell the government through peaceful protests that no, you are going the wrong way. You have to come to the right way.
My name is Suleiman Ahmed Wan.
All right, welcome back from the break. You're still watching Africa's finest breakfast show, Global Morning. It's now time for us to discuss the issue of the implementation of the Steve Oronsaya's report, the implications. And our guest is no other person but Abdulaziz Suleiman, who is the Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum. Good morning, Abdulaziz. Nice to have you join us on the program.
Good morning.
All right, let's, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for taking your time out to join us on this very important discourse. First of all, let's look at the issue. This is approximately 12 years after the report was submitted to the federal government, specifically under the Goodluck Jonathan's era. Why do you think it took the federal government this long a time to decide to implement this report? And what do you think about the timing?
You see, like you said, it's about 12 years now, and most of us have even forgotten about the report, which is a commendable initiative in any case. You see, what might have taken the government, the two previous governments, so long to implement it is what we call lack of political will. You see, we have had governments that lack the necessary courage and political will to implement policies, even when they are commendable. And I think it's the right time now to do it, since the previous governments could not do it. There is nothing wrong with the timing now.
All right, a lot of people have expressed concern that the report says as much as 541 parastatals, agencies, and commissions should be streamlined. 263 of them to be streamlined to 161, and also 38 of them scrapped, 52 merged, and 14 reverted to departments. Don't you think this will cost lots of jobs for some Nigerians, and also conflict of interest, because you have directors spread across these commissions and parastatals?
I think it's not about individual consideration. This is a national issue. So long as the implementation will streamline the government operations, it will save costs, and it will reduce duplication of functions and eliminate redundancies. You see, I don't think it's reasonable for us to have agencies and commissions with duplicating functions. It only speaks of redundancy there. So it's not about directors, conflict of interest among directors, or about people losing jobs. Because in the end, if this thing is allowed, that is what brought us to this situation. Cost of governance. I really don't think there is anything to worry about if it's just about people losing jobs, and because there is no job being done anyway. In any case, where you have three separate commissions or agencies doing the same work. So I really don't want to look at it on individual basis.
All right, some critic of the present administration has said the government is not being sincere because about the issue of cutting cost of governance, looking at the fact that the present administration has 50 ministers in its fold. Do you think the government is truly ready to cut the cost of governance, looking at how large the number of ministers are, the aides and assistants and all that?
You see, we have to be sincere. This government did not initiate the Oronsaye report. It inherited it. So a separate government or a previous government must have thought it useful to do it, but they lacked the courage to implement it. So this government is simply going to implement what it met on ground. And it will be left for Nigerians now to put on pressure for government to cut its costs of governance. But I don't think there is any relation between what is obtaining today and the implementation of the Oronsaye report, honestly.
Okay, we had the comment of the chairman of the Northern Elders Forum, in the person of Ango Abdullahi, saying as regards returning the form of government to parliamentary rather than the present one we're practicing. Is that the true stand of the Northern Elders Forum, and why is that the preferred option?
Yeah, it is the stand of the Northern Elders Forum, actually. And we prefer that because the presidential system is not working. It has not worked and it has no intention. There is no sign that it will serve Nigerians. You see, in the first place, it's costly, it's expensive, and there are too much powers vested in the executive, in the presidency, and the governors. They wield too much powers. They control immense resources, so that they turn into gods. They become uncontrollable, and they don't even listen to the people that vote them in. I think we believe that the parliamentary system or any other system apart other than the presidential system will serve Nigeria better. I think we've seen the level of development and progress achieved during the First Republic, which is far from what we are seeing today.
Okay, some critics have asked the question, why is the Northern Elders Forum deciding to toe this path at this time? Why not the previous government when we had the president coming from the Northern extraction? Is there any reason why the Northern Elders Forum is pushing towards this direction?
You see, I think it's unfair to blame the Northern Elders Forum at this point. The Northern Elders Forum did not initiate it. It's the legislature, the federal legislature, that is initiating a process which the Northern Elders Forum is supporting. So to say that the Northern Elders Forum did not, during the previous administrations, I think specifically Buhari was the only Northern the president of Northern extraction that lasted 8 years. Erdogan did not even have the time to consolidate. Throughout Buhari's 8 years, there was nothing initiated by the legislature along this line. I think it's just beating about the bush to blame the Northern Elders Forum. There is an initiative by the National Assembly, and the Northern Elders Forum is saying, yeah, it's a good thing. So it's not the Northern Elders Forum that is initiating the process.
Okay, let's look at recently when the federal government decided to move some parastatal in the aviation sector to Lagos. There was a lot of cry from the northern region, specifically Ali Ndume did raise concern about moving some departments, critical departments, to Lagos. And there was this insinuation that the present-day government was trying to relocate the capital of Nigeria back to Lagos. What's your view on that, stance? And with the implementation of this Oronsaya's report, if further things are moved back to Lagos, would you still support it?
You see, I don't think the implementation of the Oronsayan report would result in moving further things from Abuja. You see, the stand of the Northern Elders Forum, even while the key departments and agencies were being moved, was not because of the North. We were not being regional about it. We were more concerned about the status of the federal capital, Abuja as the federal capital of Nigeria. There were reasons cited when the capital was being moved from Lagos, one of which was congestion. Now, for the government to give the reason of congestion as a basis for moving some departments from Abuja to Lagos, back to Lagos, it was really not reasonable, not acceptable to us, because Abuja has enough space, it has enough offices. The CBN can rent offices to house their departments. So honestly, the reasons given were not acceptable, and the Northern Elders Forum was not talking about the effect on Northern Nigeria, but about a national. It was a national outlook about the status of the Federal Capital Territory, which is Abuja, and also the cost implication on the nation, because by moving to Lagos, moving key departments to Lagos, it would involve movement of staff, and that would be expensive, housing them, and all this. I think the money to be the funds required for that would be enough to rent accommodations in Abuja or even build new ones. So we just saw it as unnecessary.
All right, they're still talking on the national issue, which the Northern Elders Forum has always advocated for. Let's look at the, recently we had the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, the president in Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, come out to say the issue of the imbalance in state creation, saying the Southeast is the only region with 5 states. Does the Northern Elders Forum support Ohanaeze Ndigbo calling on the presidency to, as a matter of urgency, give the region more states, talking about the Southeast states?
You see, I think that would be a contradiction on the part of the Northern Elders if we support the creation of additional states. What we are saying is that it's the creation of more states that is bringing the problems in Nigeria. You see, we used to have a united northern region. There was a united eastern region and a united western region that were all progressing. So for us to have separate states with demigods as governors, I think it's not the issue. It's not reasonable. So we really cannot support the creation of more states. Most of these states are simply avenues of siphoning money, because most of the states don't even have sources of revenue. They just want to be created because they will collect federal allocations. You see, so it will be a contradiction on the part of Northern Elders Forum to even contemplate seeking additional creation or additional states anywhere, not only in the Southeast, but all over the country.
But do you think the Southeast is right to say that they are always shortchanged in terms of representation, even in the National Assembly, because of the fact they have lesser states than other regions?
You see, the Southeast has always been complaining since independence, and the problem is they are not going about it the right way. You see, they cause suspicions when they say they are leaving the country. Since the 1960s, they insisted that they are not part of the Nigeria, and they have not really assimilated up to this moment. So they cause these suspicions for themselves, which is why most of the country does not really trust them. And there are civilized ways, there are decent ways, democratic ways of going about seeking address for grievances. But honestly, they are not taking the right path. That is why I think even if their grievances are genuine, every part of the country has grievances, has questions as to how the nation is governed and structured and operated. But not all of us go about blaming other regions or elites from other regions the way the Southeast is doing it. So that's why they are not being taken seriously. These are people who have insisted for more than 60 years that they are not part of Nigeria.
Okay, let's look at recently there was this meeting by stakeholders in the northern region as regards providing solutions to the insecurity in the northern region. Is the Northern Elders Forum pleased with how insecurity has continued to manifest in Plateau State specifically? Because we've not heard the Northern Elders Forum speak out when these killings reoccur in Plateau State. Why is that?
No, perhaps, like you said, you've not had, but I think we were the first group that issued a condemnation. We called for thorough investigation, and I think I was severally interviewed over it, and we made our stand known that this is not about the Plateau issue is not an isolated case. Almost every day people are being killed in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto, and in Kaduna State. So it's about a pervasive insecurity in northern Nigeria. So we wanted to look at it holistically, but we actually condemned the attacks, especially the Xmas Eve attacks in Plateau. We did. We were the first to do that.
All right. Recently, you had this stakeholders meeting that regards providing solutions to the insecurity in the northern region. For you, do you have the antidote to solving the insecurity in the northern region? And has the government followed suit your recommendations?
Yeah, you see, the recommendations are yet to be out, but then from the look of it, from the acceptance by the governors to attend the meeting, I think there is a ray of hope, because that was the first time I can say that about 11 northern state governors were brought together to discuss a common issue, and almost all the traditional rulers were there, even while the Sultan would have represented them, but most of them were there. And we had a serving Chief of Defense Staff who is from northern Nigeria also present. So I think this is going to be a different approach altogether. You see, what the meeting was all about was how to involve the public, to get the communities, the public, to own the fight, rather than blaming the military, blaming the authorities while they keep away from active participation. So I believe with the involvement of the governors, because they have all along the problem. They've been operating in isolation. They've been operating independent of one another, so that the approach was not effective. I believe, and even the Northern Elders Forum believes, that this is going to be a workable solution anyway.
All right, let's stay talking about insecurity in northern region. What's your take as regards state police in terms of curbing insecurity in the northern region? Are you in support of it?
Yeah, of course, we have said it. Our convener, Professor Angwable, has said it severally, that the state police is a welcome development. And even when the issue came up recently, I was interviewed, and I reiterated our stand. I reiterated the stand of the convener that the state police is a welcome development, because one, the personnel are going to be recruited from the communities involved, and they will work with the federal personnel, and they will be trained. I think we believe it's a welcome development. Sentiments apart, if we really want to get to the roots of the security situation, you see, it's time we start thinking of national issues in terms of regionalism. The security situation in northern Nigeria is something that should be seen as a national threat. But if we isolate regions or ethnicity or religion, we're not going to see to the end of it. So if the North says no, we don't want state police because the situation continues, persists, it will affect the whole nation. So I think we should begin. It's time we began to look at issues that are threats to the collective national interest, not in terms of region. So honestly, we're in support of the creation of state police.
All right. Recently, the Sultan of Sokoto, Sahad Abubakar III, did raise a very disturbing comment when he said very soon it will be hard for the traditional rulers to be able to tame the anger of youths across the country due to the hardship in the country. For you, do you think the present government is doing enough to assuage the sufferings of Nigerians? And especially today that the protest has begun, what's your take on these two issues?
You see, the warning by the Sultan should be taken seriously.
Okay.
The warning by the Sultan should be taken seriously, because this is the first time traditional rulers, top northern traditional rulers, are coming out to alert government that people are angry. And you see, when it comes to hunger, it's very difficult to control people who are angry due to hunger. And really, Nigerians are angry. You can see the spate of protests, and now we are having a national protest ordered by the NLC. At least this is even going to be coordinated, since there is an umbrella body coordinating it. But if care is not taken and people start to come out uncontrolled, then there will be crisis. And government is really not doing enough, because it is not correcting its initial errors. The initial error was in the sudden removal of the fuel subsidies without practical solutions to ease the hardships. They knew there would be hardships. I think the President Tinubu has outlined the expected hardships before he became president. So he knew that there would be hardships, yet he suspended the subsidies instantly, abruptly, without having solutions in place. And the naira flotation is another problem. I think if government is serious, it must reverse this unpopular policies first, then go back to the drawing board and consider the popular views of the people. I think a lot of experts have spoken on this. The problem we have had all along is we have heads of governments who believe they are all and all. They cannot be made to change their decisions.
All right, let's still talking about the reformation of government agencies using the Orosanya's report card. Lots of people expected that during the former President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, after setting up a committee, Boss Mustafa did set up a committee to look into the Ama People's reports. They were going to implement it. Why do you think ex-President Muhammadu Buhari didn't have the willpower to implement it, despite his reputation, and also the amount of corruption we have seen after his exit? Does that disappoint you?
Of course, a lot of people, particularly Northerners, have been disappointed by Buhari's performance, by his attitude in government. I think there was a lot of expectations on him, not only in the North, but generally. People trusted him to lead Nigeria out of its limitations around security and the economy, but he failed woefully to even in the vital area of providing security for the people. And there has been this flip-flops. He was not really decisive on many issues. I think even the subsidy removal, if we are to be sincere to ourselves, the new president during inauguration said the subsidy was removed, and his explanation was that it was not included in the budget. So you can see Buhari's administration had removed the budget, the subsidy silently from the budget, and but did not have the courage to make the announcement, which is sometimes we respect this man, the new president, for being bold. This was something that was not because if it's not in the budget, there's no way he could have sourced the money for the subsidies. So you see, Buhari has really disappointed not only the North, Nigeria, because of
okay, my question. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, if Buhari disappointed us, why did the Northern Elders Forum and the Northern Bloc still decide to go with the APC, even when the party had disappointed us already?
No, you see, I think there is a misconception here. The Northern Elders Forum, as a forum, did not go with any party. I think what our position was that we did not support zoning. We do not support zoning. We advocated for free atmosphere for primaries, and I think that was what happened in all the parties. The PD, whether it was a sham, but there was there was no endorsement anyway. There was what looked like primary elections, but the Northern Elders Forum never came out to support any party, not to even talk about the APC. And the North, I think there is this misconception again. The North did not throw its weight behind the APC or Tinubu. What really happened, what caused the opposition the loss is their overconfidence. Let me cite an example of the PDP, Atiku. I don't think it's possible for anybody to go into an election, Atiku, for instance, while his party was cracked into three major parts. Konkoso's, the votes garnered by Konkoso in Kano would have gone to Atiku because Konkoso left from Atiku's camp. And the votes garnered by Obi all around Nigeria would have been Atiku's votes, but because he was even his running mate. And Atiku went into the fight, into the election, fighting 5 of his governors. So I really think it was their mistake. It was a mistake of the opposition, and not that the North backed the APC. Not at all. I think Tinubu was just able to gather the remnants of the opposition's mistake.
All right, as we begin to wrap up our discourse, let's look at the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, whose trial began again yesterday, and Justice Binta Nyako has been the one taking charge of those proceedings. What's your take as regards Nnamdi Kanu as a person and as someone who is facing treasonable offenses? Do you think it's time for the courts to set him free as a way of ensuring peace in the Southeast, especially with what the Vice President Kashim Shettima said yesterday, that if the Southeast grows, develops, then Nigeria can develop?
Yeah, you see, I don't think we can use crime as a bargaining chip. Nnamdi Kanu is being charged by the state for treason, so I don't think his release would be used as an option for peace. You see, when we talk about this regional considerations to the point of shielding crime, we're really heading for a problem. You see, we used to set an example that prominent people, influential people in the North have been arrested, detained, tried, but no Northerner, no prominent Northerner, the North does not cry for their release. Well, we cite an example of Dasuki, the son of the Sultan of Sokoto. He was detained for 5 years, tried, no Northerner, no Northern traditional ruler, no group said government must release him in exchange for peace. We had Sheikh Zakzaki, a very influential man in northern Nigeria. He was arrested, detained for 6 years, even without trial, but nobody made any noise about it. I think we should respect the law. We should respect the state. When someone is being prosecuted, we should allow him to go through the trial. And when he's set free, nobody will say he must be detained. But for us to use someone who is being tried to blackmail the state, to blackmail the country, is not acceptable, actually.
All right. On the final note, the Northern Elders Forum, what's your scorecard for the present administration, and what will be your advice for the administration and also the ECOWAS bloc, who recently lifted sanctions against Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso?
Yeah, we really welcome the development in the ECOWAS, and we call strongly on the 3 military leaderships of those nations to reciprocate the gesture by returning to the fold of the ECOWAS. I think that will enhance the regional security and regional cooperation economically. About the government, you see, I used to say personally that it's too early to judge a government that is barely 1 year old. But even though there are indications that it's not really on the right track, but with the right suggestions, with genuine approaches by Nigerians, I think we can. And you see, we really have a shift from the norms in the past. This is a person who has suspended a serving minister he appointed and subjected her to investigations. We've not seen that during the previous administration for 8 years, where people are being accused, but they remained in office for more than 8 years. I think if we can take away sentiments, take away personal considerations, and advise government properly, but really it's going to be very difficult to judge an administration that is barely 1 year old.
All right, I want to say thank you very much, the Director of Publicity and Information and Publicity of the Northern Elders Forum, in the person of Abdulaziz Suleiman, joining us on the Breakfast Show and giving us his perspective as regards all the issues, talking about the state of the nation. Thank you very much. A great pleasure to have you join us and taking your time out to help us look into the present administration and what you feel needs to be done to ensure that things go well. Thank you very much, and we urge you to enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on the interview segment. We'll go for a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be wrapping up the program. Stay with us. All right, welcome back from the break. It's been a very fruitful discussion with the Director of Publicity and Advocacy for the Northern Elders Forum, Abdulaziz Suleiman, helping us look at the state of the nation and all the key issues aside the implementation of the Rosanya's report. All right, that is now time when we say our goodbyes, and I'll be running to the kitchen for taste and
texture. Are you kidding me?
Get my own share of the goodies and probably join the protest halfway.
Are you kidding me? All right, with that, we have to wrap it up on the program Global Morning. But thank you for spending your time with us. Hope you are well informed on the issues that are ongoing at about this point. And remember, it's a Take Back Tuesday. Take back all the money you did not make on Monday. And I am Jumai Manson, and my co-host
Anthony Momodi is my name, and I urge you to stay back here because sports will be coming up next, and we've got a surprise for you. The woman who eats and sleep and talk sport in the person of Patrick Enete will be joining me in the next few minutes as we talk sports. It's going to be interesting. I pray you don't miss out.
All right.
It's going to be fun. So, Jay, all right, let's get the cat out of the bag.
Have a great morning. Bye-bye.
Good morning.